Well, good morning, afternoon, or evening. I'm Professor Rios, and I'd like to welcome you to the fall term 2026 for Physical Geography GEO101. This video is administrative in nature, meaning there's no lesson material being discussed. It's simply giving you a tour of the course and everything in Brightspace, how it's structured, also going over the course guide and syllabus so that you can hopefully get going early and be ahead of the curve. The course officially opened on August 24th, but this course will be open on August 17th, and you will have access to everything. Okay? So with that further ado, let's actually get into the material. So this is let's go over the course page first. So this is what it looks like. On Brightspace, there will be 6 modules, as you can see: administration, lessons, and so on. You first get started here, as the module title implies. So this is the setting it up, getting you ready to be fully integrated into the course. And if you go in here, you will note that you have a link to this very video will be right here. You can watch it again if you need to. A breakdown, basic breakdown of the course, some academic integrity statements that I hope you take to heart. The course guide and syllabus, which you briefly saw there at the beginning. We'll go over that in a minute. The textbook, which I highly recommend you do the e-text, which you can rent immediately from the vendor, and by the way, they have it's like a discount rate for it, using Responda's lockdown browser, which is not only being used, but it's being used with an additional layer this term. Some tips for GEO101 using X, and yes, it is part of the course. And what I tell individuals who tell me they hate social media and they don't like to use it and they don't want to use X for whatever reason, it's still part of the course. That's not changing. What I recommend those individuals do is get a throwaway account. You can create something where no one follows you, you follow no one except the course. Do your lessons. There's a total of 14 of them, and it's worth up to 140 points in the course. And when the term is over, just delete it. That's it. Pretty straightforward. It doesn't cost you anything. And you do not have to keep it beyond that point in the course. But I say that ahead of time and at the beginning because it is a part of the course. Okay? There is a getting started quiz which you have to complete after completing steps 1 through 7. And you have to get a 100 on it, 14 out of 14, in order to gain access to the lesson materials. And what do I mean by that? So if you go back to the course home, you will note that there are 6 of these modules. But when you first log into the class, you will not see this one, the lesson folders. And let me show you. Let's pretend I'm a student. Notice there's only 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's pretend that you went into that folder here, that module, and you completed the Getting Started quiz and you got a 100. Once you do, suddenly now there are 6 folders or 6 modules with a lessons folder. So you had to complete that beforehand. It's pretty easy. There's no time running on you. You can take it as many times as you need to get to 100. Once you get to 100, you get to keep that grade. So that's sort of the little incentive there. In addition to, you don't have access to this until you complete that. So let's go back here. And again, there's that getting started quiz. You know, how to join a live office hour, documentation of written work. You really should watch this before the end of week 1. This is really important. There is a documentation of written work statement at the end of each homework, and you need to take it seriously. It mostly addresses things like if somebody helps you or if you copy and paste from a website, but it also addresses AI. Yes, that monkey or that elephant in the room. AI is not a license to cheat. And unfortunately, AI is used by most people incorrectly. And just simply copying and pasting information that may or may not be correct leads to really weird outcomes where you have great grades on one end and really bad grades on another, because the material isn't being absorbed and integrated into your brain, essentially. AI can be quite helpful and very useful in many factors, many facets of the academic realm, but you have to give credit. And if you use it, you have to give credit. And if you don't, it will be considered cheating. Just plain and simple. So don't do that. Seriously. It's, let it help you, not hurt you. And in the end, what I hope you do is you think critically about the information, and before you press submit, think about where you got the information and how you got the information. Because oftentimes AI is frankly easy to tell that it is information that came from some AI agent, whatever that agent may be. And that's because it is almost perfect sounding. It has some very unique terminology and punctuation that most people simply don't use. And if it's a question that is worth 1 point and it's asking for something very simple, and you provide like 2 long paragraphs, that's kind of a hint. So just FYI, it is being looked at. So bear that in mind. How to link your tweets on Brightspace. Very simple, straightforward little tutorial. And then you have using Google Earth on GEO101. Google Earth is used extensively in this course. Extensively. So sometimes, not all the time, but often enough, many people just blow it off. And they end up having really poor homework grades, because I have over time de-emphasized questions from the book and emphasized material from YouTube and or Google Earth, which still ties together the material. So bear that in mind. So this is your administration folder. This is where you get your semester started. So let's pretend you went through all of this. The next module would be the lessons folder, and it's broken down into parts. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is how it's broken down in your course guide and syllabus. Same setup. Part 1 happens to be just week 1, and that is open from August 17th to September 13th. So quite a bit of time. Notice week 2 is also August 17th and through September 13th. So weeks 1 and 2 are opened at the same time. The efficient student will try to get as much done week 1 so that come week 2 there's less to do. However, if you so decide to wait till week 2 to finish it all, you're going to have a lot of work. So that's the whole point of not only giving you extra time for weeks 1 and 2, but also why it's opened a full week early, so that you can ease your way into the term. So now let's look at week 1, for example. And each week is broken down into a to-do list. Again, if you check off all these if you check off all of this, you're done. That's it. So notice it says here, week 1 deadlines are extended into week 2. This is a week 1 only courtesy. Okay, but this is your to-do list. There are some slides. There's a video that pertains to these slides. This is a practice quiz, so I strongly recommend you do this. It's a silly little quiz like who's the governor of New York. I think it's 4 total questions or 5. Simple. There's no time limit. It's simply to make you go through the process of using Respondus. That's it. So there's no threat. There's no pressure. The point is, make all your mistakes in this silly little quiz so that when you get to an actual quiz, you've already gone through all that, okay? There's a homework, there's a discussion, an X assignment, and a quiz. This is actually a timed quiz. So take that practice one before you take this actual one, okay? And the quizzes are basically usually 15 minutes. So they're pretty quick, and you are allowed to take them twice, okay? And when you take it a second time, that second quiz is essentially only the questions that you got wrong the first time. All right, let's go back. So let me show you week 2. Notice how it says in here, please remember that all week 1 deadlines are due by the end of this week if you're taking advantage of the extended week 1 deadlines. Again, notice to-do list, slides, video, homework, discussion, assignment for X, and the quiz. My recommendation is do the tweets and the forums first, do the homework next, and do the quizzes last. That's, in my opinion, the best strategy to take. Again, X, forums first, homework next, quizzes last. That would be my recommendation. And to show you that all weeks kind of look the same, so I'm going to go here to week 8. Ooh, look at that. A to-do list, slides, video, homework, discussion, X assignment, and quiz. Very repetitive, very predictable, okay? The reason I say, by the way, do the forums and the tweets first, you control that. They're meant to be more opinionated events. And it gets you to look at the material in a way that is outside the book. So that's my recommendation as to why I think that works best. In addition, and I will be sending a separate message on forums, but if you start your forum early, if you then wait till the very end to do the responses to other people, it's a lot easier than having to do everything all at once. And that's usually reflected in the grades. It's just one of those things. Historical data now over, however many years, clearly shows that. So take advantage of it. Be smart about the way you spend your time. I know you're busy. You have other classes, you have jobs, families, partners, wives, husbands, whatever. So you're busy. I get it. So take advantage of the time and be smart about it and manage it as best as you can so that you are in the driver's seat rather than just simply trying to catch up. Okay? Let's go back to the home. That would be right there. We went over this module and some of this module. Live Office Hour is hosted every Thursday between 6 and 7, but I understand that you can't all meet this particular time. I get it. You may have a class or we're working. So if you can't and you still want to talk, I'm happy to set up one that works for you. It might be on a Tuesday or a Friday or a Wednesday morning or a Saturday afternoon. Just schedule it with me and we'll go from there. It's really, really easy. Super easy to do. And here's the link and you should be good to go there. How to contact me. So I give you my email address. I give you my alternate email address, which is my personal one. I give you a Google Voice that you can text to. Now, if you decide to text me, that's fine. But bear in mind, there's a ton of spam on Google Voice rather. So simply say, hey, this is so-and-so from GEO101. Got it. So just announce yourself, that's all. So that I know that it's, I may recognize the area code, but you never know. And I'm using an area code that is not from New York. So it just, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So simply say, hey, so-and-so from GEO101, I have a question. Great. I'll respond, and it's worked really well in other courses. If you prefer to text rather than email, or if you prefer to text other than Zoom. Some people like to do Zoom, some people don't like it. So just giving you some options. So this is a way to contact me. And then, of course, other assistants, which may require you to look at or look through the Responders Help, SUNY Orange, and SUNY Online Help. One thing I do recommend, and I recommend this to everyone at the beginning of every term, if you're going to use Google Chrome, which is what I use, so either Google Chrome or Firefox are the two best browsers for this course. What I recommend that you do is clear your caches, clear your history, cookies, all that stuff. Just start clean at the beginning of the term. You'd be amazed how many problems that either solves or helps prevent. It seems like, it's sort of like the whole all control delete back in the day, or, just turn it off or turn it back on. It's almost kind of like that, and it works really, really well. It doesn't solve every problem, but it solves a whole bunch of them. So I recommend you do that. Just start off with a clean slate and go from there. Let's see what else here. So I've gone over the Zoom, I've gone over the contact and the assistants. This is the page. It has the little Aurora Borealis sort of as the image in very soothing green, which is, as you can see, my color. So this is the class page. Again, announcements when posted will also email. Okay. And so that's the page right there. Now let's go and look through the course guide and syllabus, which reads Fall 2026. This I recommend you save, don't print it. It's like 9-10 pages, not worth it. So it contains a whole bunch of administrative stuff that needs to be there. Course guidelines, some useful websites that you can take advantage of, free, all of them. Okay. Grading, the grade scale, how the breakdown of the points happens to be. Attendance policy, which in an online course is basically if I'm able to see that you've signed into the course. And you'd be amazed how nosy Brightspace is. It tells me every click you do. So, that's basically your attendance. Okay? Again, the Center for Student Success, Orange Connect, all that good stuff. And then at the very, very end, the actual course guide and syllabus. Okay? And that's how it's broken down. Final exam will be on December 11th. So go through this. There may be additional changes to this file, and if they are, it will be the latest version that you see here, specifically here. Then it will have a file date. Okay? So take advantage of that. Let's see. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over. I may not have covered everything that you may have a question on, and that's okay. If you do have an additional question or something that hasn't been answered, let me know. I'd be happy to answer it for you. I hope you take advantage of the early start and get going quickly. You get plenty of time for weeks 1 and 2. In addition to more time, you get a free week that hopefully allows you to just ease into the course and take advantage of all the tools that are available at your disposal. Watch all the videos that I do post. I know you get to listen to me blather on about stuff, but again, I don't do them for my own good. Hopefully they help you to get going. If something is confusing, I fully admit that's possible. If I didn't explain something well enough, fine. Just tell me and I'll be happy to go over it with you one-on-one. That's the whole point of the Zoom or email or texting. I will not claim infallibility and or that I say something or everything perfectly explained. So if there is something confusing and you want it explained, let me know. And I'm happy to go over that with you. Otherwise, best of luck. I hope you have a great fall term and I look forward to interacting with you. Talk to you soon. Bye.